Hey everybody, and welcome to this weekly update. What I'm going to be talking about is some of the Azure news that's happened this week, also my certification journey, and again my blogging platform, so stay tuned. Hey everybody, and welcome to this weekly update. I hope you've all had a good week and you're enjoying the fact that it's Friday or whatever day you're actually listening to this or watching it on. It's been a bit of a quiet week in terms of Azure news, but there were two bits of news that I wanted to focus on. So Azure Automation is now available in the UK West region, so great facility for customers deploying within the UK. They now have that facility where they can use Azure Automation. And we also saw a new version of AzCopy released in preview, so I think it's version 10.9.0 released, which gives us a few different functions, but the first one, or the main one that I wanted to focus on, was the fact that it now supports within AzCopy from taking data from GCP storage into Azure storage. So that looks like an exciting feature for companies who are maybe looking to transition from GCP into Azure, or if you're changing platforms yourself personally. So definitely something to check out. Obviously updating and keeping all your tools up to date is something that you do want to keep up to date with. I think I said keep up to date quite a bit in that sentence, but you get the gist. For me this week, I have been focusing on various different tasks. I think I spoke about this in a few videos ago or a few weeks ago. I want to get a lot of things done and completed before the end of Microsoft's FY or financial year, and I'm starting to actually get through my to-do list, if I'm honest. I've started to block out time in my calendar and actually achieve some things. So starting to clear off that to-do list and start on the new list of things that I want to do. One of the things that I want to do was renew my Azure Architect exam. So if you've been following the Azure certification kind of blogs and the news, some of the Azure exams, some of the Microsoft exams, some of the other exams as well, expire after a certain amount of time. So one of the exams that I have sat 2 years ago, the Azure Architect exam, was due to expire for me personally in July 2021. So my certification was due to lapse and I would have to renew it. And in December, Microsoft announced a new renewal process. So previously, obviously, if you wanted to renew, you would probably go through another exam process. And that was typically because in the past, we had new products. So my Windows Server 2008 exams were upgraded when I went to do my Windows Server 2012 exam. Same with 2016. So you needed to keep up to date with all of that. However, they've got a new renewal process, and that involves Microsoft Learn. So if your exam is due for renewal, what you do is you head over to Microsoft Learn and you'll get a email for this, or you'll get a notification within your MCP, your Microsoft Certified Profile, I think MCP means, and it'll tell you where to go and it'll hit you click. So you click on that link and you go through to Microsoft Learn and it will show you the skills that they're going to test for this renewal. And the renewal will be valid for another year. There are some learning materials that Learn suggest that you potentially want to have a look at, have a read through before you actually sit the renewal process. I actually went through this process the other day. I went through and I actually read the Learn modules that they actually suggested. I think there was 4 or 5 for the Architect exam, and I think each of them were about an hour in time. So I knew a lot of it. Some of it I knew very well. Some of it I was like, oh, okay, I remember that now, or I'd forgotten that fact. So it was good just to spend the time going through that. Now, obviously you don't need to. Some people will be absolutely fine without having to do that. I wanted to do the full experience, complete the full experience, and actually, see how the process works so that I could do some internal feedback loop and also help you, the community, if you had this process coming up so you were a bit more familiar with. So I went through those Learn modules and then I sat the kind of renewal process. It said for the Architect exam it would take about 45 minutes. I think I was taking my time and I probably was around about that 40-minute mark. It was a good process. Questions were at the right difficulty level. Some caught me out, some completely caught me out because I didn't read the question properly. But yeah, I think it's a good process. Still nerve-wracking, the fact that you have to click that button, and when you hit finish and you wait on the results, you wait on the little spinning wheel giving you the results. But I'm pleased to say that I passed that renewal process. So my Architect exam for Azure is now renewed until 2022. So I don't have to worry about it again for a wee while. So I still have to do my Administrator exam. That's up due for renewal, I think the end of July, so I need to go through that process again. But if it's very similar to the Architect one, which I believe it will be, then I have no hassles about going to do that. So I'll book out time again just to review some of the learning materials before I actually sit the exam, just to refresh my memory, because I think the Administrator one, covers a bit of Docker and a bit of containerization. And that's always a weakness for me. I'll always admit that. It's something that is on my to-do list for learning. I just haven't got round to it. So I will spend some time going through the Learn modules, or the recommended Learn modules for that, before I actually sit the exam, so as I know a bit more, and I'm a bit more gemmed and ready for those questions if they were to come up in the renewal process. So I definitely recommend it. If you have that on your to-do list, definitely do it. You know, either book out an hour or two to sit and, you know, do the process itself, or book out, you know, some time where you can carve out and do the Learn modules and refresh your knowledge for the test ahead. But not an overly stressful process, definitely one that is much easier than the initial exam. So if you've been keeping up to date with Azure, if you know what you're doing, if you're still being active in Azure and, you know, learning, which you probably are if you're watching this video even, then it shouldn't be a problem, and it's entirely free. And you do get several attempts, I believe. I think it noticed when I went through it that after the second attempt, you have to wait 24 hours. So for me, I interpreted that as if you failed the first time, you would be able to sit the second attempt immediately afterwards. And then once you got beyond the second attempt, you would have to wait longer periods before taking it. So again, less stressful. Please do have a look at it. Please don't let your certificates lapse. Give it a go and see where you are. It's definitely worth doing. The other thing that I've been working on this week is again my blog, moving it from one platform to another. I am ready to flip it over. So if you are visiting my blog, you might have noticed it flip over already. I'm going with a soft launch. I want to make sure that everything is kind of, you know, doing that whole change around the world. Everybody's DNS, everybody's caches, everybody's, you know, CDNs are catching up with the change. So I'll do a soft launch. This plan is to soft launch it, not really tell anybody. But if you're watching this video, you might be able to see it and you might know this is an announcement. And then in a week's time, if everything's okay and everything's going okay, then I will do a proper announcement and get some feedback. So if you go and visit my blog and it has changed and it's on the new platform, please do let me know if there's any issues or if there's anything you like changed. I'm not entirely finished with the change of the platform and the layout and stuff like that, so definitely looking for feedback. And if there's any broken links, any broken images, anything that doesn't quite look right, I know there are some things I need to change and I'll be working on over the next couple of weeks. But feedback, constructive criticism, absolutely always welcomed, people. So definitely reach out to me and let me know your thoughts, because it's been a lot of work, so hopefully it hasn't been in vain. So yeah, please do reach out if you've seen the new changes and let me know what you think. I'm going to head off now, people. I hope you're all having a good time. You've got some good plans for the weekend. I think it's to rain here in Scotland, but to be nice again next week. So yeah, hope you're all staying safe, and I'll catch you in my next video.